arsenal, our toolbox. Remember, trading and technical analysis is just like a carpenter, and he's stripping a house down, and all it is the frame, right? And he has a toolbox, and he knows what tool he's going to use to build this home, right? Some carpenters use multiple tools, some use lesser tools, some use different tools. So you don't need to even know all this crap. You don't need to know all this stuff. You don't need it all. You only need the tools of what you need to build your chart. That's what you're doing. You're building your chart. You have your tools. And I told you that when this is all done with in this class, you're going to have over 14 indicators. 14, which is well over enough to have a confirmation for each indicator that you're going to use. And you may not even use all of them to be able to get a particular indicator or see a setup in your charts. You don't need all the tools, but you will be using them. So this is why we're going over this. Matter of fact, you might have about four of these different moving averages on your chart. Okay, so after this, we were going to go to what is called, we need volume. We want volume, so we're going to click this, right? We don't want volume oscillator. We don't want Voltex indicator. We just want simple volume. So we click this and put a star by it, right? Okay. And what we need is the Mach D. The Mach D, right? Well, we can do next, we need relative strength index. We don't need relative, I didn't say relative vigor index. I didn't say relative volatility index. I simply said relative strength index. Bam. Let's get that. Okay, so then we need also the Mach D, right? So we come up here. I didn't say MA cross. I didn't say Mach D strategy. Just MACD, which stands for moving averages, conversion, diversions, right? And I will go in and explain in each and every one of these, even though I'm not expecting you to learn. Remember, don't make me think. Don't think about it. You're going to learn about it. Take your time. Just click on it. You're going to need it. Okay. All right. So next we're going to need what is called stochastics, right? And by the way, I will just tell you, relative strength index is just the strength, right? It gives you a little bit about the strength in the market. Again, but I'm not going to explain to you why until I get to that. Here we go, stochastic. I didn't say stochastic RSI because this will mix your, again, I don't want you to get what is called too much stuff going on or confuse you, because if you mix this, you're going to have stochastic and RSI together, and you're going to be confused on which is which. Well, is this the stochastic or this the RSI? Even though you can color code it, and if you feel comfortable, I would say mix it, but I don't have to do that. We're just going to simply grab our stochastic. It's one of our favorites. Okay, now let me click over here and see how many favorites do we have right now. We have one, two. This is going to give us four, so that's 6, 7, 8. We have 9. So far, we got 9 indicators right here, right? Okay, so I think that this at this point is good enough for what we need. I'll close out of this, right? And right now I'll even close out of this as well, and get back to our chart. And by the way, if you can see this mouse right here, again, I can't see what you're seeing, but I know my camera's on. This is how, if you look at this, this is how I'm actually widening it. It's a quick way to blow your candles up. It's more than one way to do this. See how the candles get big and stuff? You can also kind of like stroll down here, and you can do it here. Be a click. Hear that clicking sound? I don't like doing that because it takes too much time. And it also can move, right? But you can click and drag this. See that? You can click and drag it. And it saves you a lot of time, especially when you have to go back 3 years. And we're going to talk about this too right here. We might as well talk about it now. Well, this is where you can have your charts in what is called 1 month, 1 day, 5 days, or even you can just set it however you want it. 1 year, right? Year to date. I'd usually do year to date. Year to date seems whatever today is. Let's just say now here's where we have to switch it over because those candles can look a little small, right? And I want this cross. But I can take this cross and line it up right there. And what date is that? October 28th, 2021, right? And if you look right on the top here, and it's going to take me off here, but if you look right here, we in our previous candle session we talked about the open, high, low, and close. Well, this has the open, the high, the low, and the close. So each one of these candles, every time you move to it, it's going to tell you all that information, where it opened, where the height is, and where it closed at. Let's see if I can just kind of blow this up and stick it right there. Okay, it opened at 670, right? And it closed, and if you look at 670, let's go to 670. And here's the beauty. Remember this little puppy right over here? I told you its numbers. We put it on 670. Sometimes you have to micro stroll this to get there. But we're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost there. It might pass it though because of my hand. It's so sensitive. Sometimes this is where it opened. Okay, because remember, bear bullish. Where does it open at? Right there. Okay, then it says its high was 675. So here's a high. See, that's 675. I got it on 675.3. Then we have what is called the low, which is 668. Remember the lowest of the shadow, 668. There we go. Then we have its close. Remember it opens here and it closes here, right? So then there it is, 672 right there. Now remember on the opposite, and we click here, we see something different. This is a bearish candle, right? It said it opened at 670, 669. So let's go to 669 right here. Remember, bearish opens at the top now. Over here, it opened at here. When it's going up, it opens here and closes here. When it's going down, it opens here and closes here. Again, draw back into my next classes, the previous on candlesticks. I believe it's lesson 1. You will see if you need to remember exactly how these open and close so you won't get confused about bullish and bearish, up or down, high or low. Okay, so we covered all that. Okay, so it opened here. It opened here. It opened here. I'm sorry. It's not bullish. 669. Its high was 671, right? So we will go to 671. This was its high, right? And both of the highs are the same. They're not different on the bullish or the bearish candle. Okay, then its low was 661. 661. There it is. We got it. And it closed at 662. 662. You see that? And I can nudge this a little bit or whatever. It didn't work, but technically I can nudge it. But this particular thing is nudging and it's changing my the chart itself. What do I do? Someone think for a minute. What are we going to do to get back? We just lost our chart. Think for a minute. Look at the screen. We can go right here, right? We know that's not where we were at. We come over to our watch list, right? We come to the symbols. Remember them. Did we have it saved here? Oh, where we got? Looky, looky. We didn't have to stroll through this. We just need to look at our red favorite. Call it a favorite. Click it. Boom. We're back. Very simple. Okay. So now that we're moving out of this and we have our indicators, right? I want to kind of go over the rest of the software. And in our next lesson, which is going to be the next lessons to this, maybe lesson 5 or 6, we'll go into setting up these indicators on the charts. Okay? We'll do that as well. But before we do all these things, we have to understand exactly what each and every one of them is. This is only dealing with the functions of the software. So if you ever have to go back to the video you should be able to go back to everything you need to do to set up your charts. And if you can't remember, or if you can't find it, or if you just get tired of having to locate it, you can always send me a quick little um, email, and I will send you the exact minute and second and time that is on the chart video itself that will teach that subject that you need to know. Okay, so where are we at now? We are here. This is the favorites. Click down here. Remember, this is just allows you to, search for some of your indicators and things like that. And here is your favorites that saves you time, right? This right here is just income statement, gross profit, cost of goods, cash flow, statistics. Now, this is dealing with you connecting to this particular, want to track your trades, or, you want to see every trade you made, and, how you did, how much did it cost, and things like that. Um, Quarterly, annually, and all that stuff. And it also might allow you to be able to look at different markets as well. I don't use it. Again, this is a tool that maybe somebody else is using. This may benefit you as well, but I will use this in the near future. I mean, it could be good for you when you actually start live trading, but I like to separate this type of stuff again from. I keep my charts as what it is, the charts. I do not like to talk about my personal stuff on this particular platform. That's where you have QuickBooks. That's why you have other softwares that are apps that are designed to analyze your trades as you place them. You can enter that information in there, and it will tell you exactly what's going on. Or the software that you're going to get, TradeStation, will have all that information as well, your financials and things like that. Okay, what we got here? We have what is called default templates, right? Now, these are templates that are um, basically for someone has created for you. Now, if you really don't want to think, I guess you could get this. But the point is that this would require you to relearn. I don't see how any of these are going to help your strategy. If anything, if you use one of these, it may offset completely the strategy, the measurements, the coincide what you're already having. You're trying to become this person. You're trying to do what this person is doing. I mean, technically, I could probably set up all this stuff for you guys on this, and you can just click it. You know, they're selling it, whether it really works or not. Um, Again, whether or not these are considered algorithms, whether or not they have it set up to see what we talked about, some of these various different um, dojis and various different candles being different size, whether we talked about, again, reflecting back into the courses, previous courses, understanding candlesticks, and it's also in my introduction 1 and 2. We talked about how relying on this type of stuff is the human being is always going to be needed for the trained eye, that human eye. You can't get around it. So don't worry about this. I don't have anything for it. You may want to use it. If you do use it, I would at least recommend you know the rules before you break them. Learn my rule before you break them. Learn how to trade before you break them. You know, I teach you that a lot in a lot of things, such as graphic designs. You know, you don't supposed to take no one else's um, plagiarism or whatever. You don't take people's ideas and just completely copy it and say, now this is your logo. You have to know the rules of what you can and can't do and what you can get away with. And you haven't got to that point yet where you're able to um, co- uh, the word I'm looking for is calibrate, and analyze if this is going to work within your system. Eventually you will, but not now. Okay, so then this one we have is the speed. You can have it set up for the speed, how fast you want to navigate. See how now it's moving pretty fast. You can do that. You can have it on the speed or any things like that. You can even slow it down if you want. Okay, and then this one just lets you go back. Sometimes it's good to have this. This is a very good tool because sometimes you may be working and putting stuff on your chart, various different indicators, and then they might disappear all of a sudden. And you'd be like, whoa, because sometimes you didn't lock it in or whatever. So hitting this button and going back is very beneficial. Like what you see right here, I didn't intend to put these little circles, and sometimes they pop up a lot and they can get annoying. I don't need them. I don't use them. So what I do is I must need to go forward. Somewhere they're going to come off. Somewhere. Okay, in this case, these in particular ones, you just click over here on this side right here and they disappear. Okay, next we have select layout, right? And remember, this is a free pattern, free software, so it's only going to let us use this one layout. But I wanted to show you if you decided to go to 2, if you decided to go to 3, you have different layouts on those 3s. I personally just like the this one because it's longer and it can show more information. When I'm using 3, I go sideways. When I'm using 4, I just simply do the box like this, or I may do this one, go long. I don't use any of these. There's no sense of making one particular bigger than the other one because most of the time you're going to have all indicators on one side and all the other ones on the opposite side because you're looking at both of the S&P has 2 different charts and you want them neck to neck. You don't want them, because then your eye can get a little. You want to have what is called rhythm. You want to have that rhythm going through there, and you can see on the 5th chart. I mean, I never use that. I just use 6, 8, 3, or 2. But most of the time I'm just dealing with 8, and this would be the pattern that I would use the long way. But sometimes 8 can be too cloggy, where it makes the chart so small that you almost have to probably go with 6. But if you have a big screen, it's beautiful. I suggest a 27-inch monitor, the one that you can kind of turn portrait. That's what I do with mine. I like to have them portrait. So when those 8 come, they're coming in columns, and that's pretty good. Okay, so then we have save. Save all charts for all save all charts for all symbols and invert it on your layout. So you can save it. You just hit save and it's, simplifies things, whatever. But of course you need to, your plan only has one layout, so that doesn't matter right now, right? And then we have what is called, that is just save, and it would save it. So that way you want to, when you're working, and that's important too. I usually keep it where it automatically saves. I believe I can come over here and get that done. Save layout. Right here. I usually do it right there. It gives you an option to save it automatically, and you'll see this kind of moving around, and you'll see this moving around as it saves. And then we have what is called the new chart layout. So when you order, like right now you only have one, because I have eight charts. I usually try to keep one chart as free. I call it the free. Do anything you want. I use it when I think this is a market that I'm not charting. I say, it looks good in that. Now, and I kind of